Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the BFNL Footy Show for another week. Proudly brought to you by McDonald's Ballarat and Ballarat Toyota, official sponsors of the Footy Show, as they have been all along. Fantastic to be joining you once again as we turn our attention to the Interleague, the Worksafe Community Championships this weekend across country Victoria. Sean Kelly's my name. With me, as always, Liam Brady. Brades, welcome, mate.
Thanks, Shawnee. Good to be here, mate. Looking forward to having a look at the Interleague game that's going to be played at the Whitten Oval, mate. Just looking at the side before, lots of young faces in the team, which is really good. Yep. Enthusiastic people that want to be involved in the campaign. So I know that Shaun O'Loughlin's put an enormous amount of work in, so looking forward to talking about it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. But before we do, let's have a look at some of the big talking points from the last week in the Ballarat Football Netball League. Round 5 of competition. And have Melton, as we look at the first talking point for the week, have they found that respect that they so dearly crave with that win over East Point?
Yeah, I think they've been building for a while, Melton. It's been a work in progress, not only this year but also last year as well. Brad Murphy's been at the helm for a couple of years now, and I think he's finally got a group of players together. They've been together for a small amount of time now, and they know how to play together as a team. They've shown glimpses. When I say glimpses, they've played good quarters of football so far this year, but on the weekend they put it together a 4-quarter performance. And certainly had a really good win against East Point. Look, I tipped East Point just based on the way East Point played the week before against Redan in the second half, but it just goes to show how even the competition is, which is really good to see. Look, Melton are going to be a side that I think will cause a few more upsets as the season goes on, and I think if any side up near the top of the ladder takes them lightly, they'll come undone. So well done to Brad and his coaching staff on a really good result. You
look forward, though, do you think Melton have got the strength to take on a Lake Wendouree, a North City, a Redan or a Bacchus Marshall, one of those really powerful clubs this year?
When I talk about the comp being so even, I think it doesn't matter who you play. If you're a fraction off your game and you're playing a team who's up and about and playing with a fair bit of confidence, anyone can beat anyone. When I say anyone can beat anyone, you've obviously got to have the core group of players. Yeah. You've got to be playing good football, and you need to be, I suppose, in the right frame of mind as well. So if you're a side, it's a side like Lake Wendouree or North Ballarat City or Redan, and you're playing a side like Melton, and you don't come into play, there's a big chance a side like Melton could get the 4 points, which is good for the competition. I think it's really healthy.
It's great. We bat all the way down the order in the BFL this year. There's some really strong teams down in that 8th, 9th position on the ladder. You look at Darley and East Point that are down in that area, you wouldn't expect them to be down there for too much longer.
Yeah, well, Darley's an interesting one. They've had a fairly tough draw, I suppose, at the start of the season. On the weekend, it was a must-win game against Redan. Unfortunately for their sake, they couldn't get the results. So, look, the first couple of games after the break are just vital. I mean, Darley, they need to win games to even be a chance to play finals.
Because not only did Darley not win, they got touched up.
Yeah. Look, Redan are very hard to beat at the City Oval. Yeah. And we saw Redan's first half against East Point last week was outstanding. The second half wasn't so good, but they were able to put 4 quarters on the weekend together. So it was a good result for them. Talking
point number 2, we have only one undefeated side left after 5 rounds in the Ballarat Football Netball League, and that is Lake Wendouree, who got the job done against North City on the weekend. As I heard from Gavin Webb after the game, and he said that a couple of things either way. He thought that they could have put the foot down and won by a bit more, but North City also could have got themselves back into the game, kicked in accurately early, and Lake Wendouree took advantage of that. Is this a game we're going to see again later in the season with more meaning behind it?
Yeah, quite possibly, Sean. I think, as you said, North City kicked a few points in the first quarter. If they'd have gone in, 4 or 5 goals up, they may have had that momentum travelling in the second quarter. They may have been able to, I suppose, maintain that lead for a little bit longer. But Lake Wendouree are a side that have so much depth now. Yep. They don't rely on any one individual, especially through the midfield. Their midfield is quite deep. They're playing guys who normally would play in the midfield in the last couple of years. They're playing forward and back, and they've got that luxury. So they're like Nathan Pring, who sits up in a forward pocket. Pitson's up forward now. I just think that I was talking about Melton and having that core group of players been together under Brad Murphy for a while. The same applies for Gavin Webb. Yep. I think that core group has been under Webby the last couple of years and just added a little bit of polish in the off-season in terms of recruits. So look, they're travelling well, but let's don't forget it's May.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's May.
You don't win flags in May.
We're 5 or 6 rounds into the start of the season. There's a long way to go. And I've got no doubt there's sides like Redan, North City, they're going to be very hard to beat come finals time. So look, Lakers, they're travelling very well at the moment. And they're certainly the side to beat for me, but there's a lot to play out.
There is indeed. And talking point number 3 for this week is, of course, this weekend's huge game. The Ballarat Football Netball League taking on the Western Region Football Netball League. Whitten Oval in Footscray is where it's happening, the Worksafe Community Championships, and the new format this year, Brades, with country sides and the metro sides playing against each other, especially at that upper echelon, I think really adds an element to the whole Interleague experience.
Yeah, it does, and it's going to be, I think, probably some teething things to start off with in terms of who should be thereabouts in terms of rankings, etc.
Yep.
Look, I think it's going to be a really good challenge for the Ballarat side. I think it's good because traditionally, the BFL the last couple of years, it's always been we played against Golden Valley, Bendigo.
Yep.
Probably
and
played.
It's just been that way over the last 3 and 4 years.
Yeah, so to play against a brand new league.
On a VFL ground.
Yeah, on a VFL ground. It's quite exciting. I think the players would be really looking forward to it. I know that Shaun O'Loughlin has been really enthused about the way that the campaign has gone so far. So, I'm not too sure what to expect in terms of the result.
Yep.
I don't know too much about the Western Region Football League. I know it's a fairly strong competition, but what I do know is that the Ballarat team that goes down there will be 100% committed. And I know that Interleague campaigns sometimes, you may get players that just may not possibly want to be there,
yep.
Just playing because they sort of told they have to be there. But I know that this group of Ballarat players fully want to be there, fully support the program, which is great to see. And I think just watching the players that have played the BFL side over the last couple of years, they've really enjoyed the day. You play against, you play with, players who you formed a rivalry on field with, and
yep.
and you certainly obviously enjoy the night as well. So players that played in the past have really enjoyed it. I'm sure the players that play on Saturday will be no different.
Under 19 game playing first up against the WRFL, starting at 11:45am at the Whitten Oval to kick the day off. Timmy Beecham in charge once again as the coach this year, and happy birthday to Beachy too. His 40th birthday earlier in this week, so good to see he's finally getting over the hill, the big boy. He'll tell you that he's not, but he's definitely getting there. But really good start to the day. Obviously, the under-19s football, people watch this game. Last year, we had a player drafted from this game, Daniel Rioli, who, of course, is starring at Richmond at the moment, played in this game for the Eastern Footy League, for the Ballarat Footy League, just going on my bloody old terms there. But this is a game where kids can really get noticed. Yeah,
no doubt. I was just talking to the Beecham boys last night, and they've actually picked a fairly sort of smaller running side.
Mm-hmm.
Last couple of years, they've picked a similar sort of type side, and it's paid dividends. So I think on the wide spaces of the Whitten Oval, that might be a really good, I suppose, strategic plan that they've picked that sort of team. And they've really enjoyed the campaign. The Beecham boys again, they've know that they've really been impressed with the talent of players who've been at training so far. They obviously played against the Riddle District Football League last Wednesday night down at Arnold's Creek and had a really good victory. I know that some boys really impressed out of that game as well, and obviously those boys will get another chance to impress on Saturday again. As you mentioned, Daniel Rioli played in the same team last year, so it just goes to show how things can I suppose progress in the space of a year. So you put a really good performance in on the weekend, whether it be at senior level or under 19 level. You just never know what the future may hold for you.
Yeah, exactly right. And you look, there were probably a couple of boys that will come in from that game that played against Riddle last week, you'd imagine?
Yeah,
just
definitely.
Looking at the players in the squad that didn't play.
Yeah, there's a few players that couldn't play last week that will come into the side, but the core group of players will still be there, which is good, and I think deservingly too, because that side that played down at Arnold's Creek on the Wednesday night played really well. And they deserve another chance. And then the senior game starting at 2:30pm. If you can't get down to the Whitten Oval though, we'll have you covered all weekend. I believe there is a live stream of this game happening, and it's also going to be all over social media. We'll have goal by goal updates on Twitter on Saturday, and we'll also have quarter by quarter updates from both games on both Instagram and Facebook, and all the tags come up across the screen as you just saw then. So keep an eye on the social media, and we're going to cross out very shortly to training early this week and have a chat to Coach Shaun O'Loughlin and one of the players, Chris Giampaolo, as well. But before we do, Brades, having a look over this side that we've had a look at, it's not too bad. It's not too bad, the side they're putting together. No, I think it's good, but there's actually a few new faces that actually haven't played interleague football really too much over the last couple of years. So I don't know if I'm going to touch on line by line, Shaun, but look, it's an exciting team. Maybe we can talk about some of the forwards. I think the forward line
looks exciting.
Is where I suppose I can say that it's the Ballarat strength. Just looking at the team on paper, you've got players like Lucas Anderson, who's a who's a quality BFL senior player now. Derek Micallef, Premiership player, VFL Premiership player.
And a gun at Interleague. He kicked 4 goals in last year's Interleague game.
Jordan Staley, who we know that he's a top echelon player at this level, obviously.
And knows the Whitney Oval very well as a Footscray VFL player.
Exactly. I think you've got Damien Cupido, who's come into the competition, kicked 20 goals in the last 2 weeks, and then you had Nathan Pring, probably in a forward pocket or a half-forward flank. That's a really exciting forward line. So if they can just get enough supply and the delivery can be okay, I think based on that, we should be pretty hard to beat. And
when you look at the midfield as well, Benny Sortino comes into the ruck stocks as well from Melton South, who's had a really impressive first year, and he feeds the ball to a midfield. How would you like to run this out each week? Steve Kennedy, Mitch Banner, Chris Giampaolo, Nathan Horbury, just some really great players through that midfield. Daniel Tung's had a fantastic year as well. He'll chop through that mix. Jacko Bolton from Bacchus Marsh as well. Yep. Just some really, really good midfielders. I worry a little bit about the back line.
Yep.
Ryan Hobbs, fantastic. Daniel Kennedy, fantastic down there. But if they go really tall, I just wonder what the plan B is. Do you throw Staley back as well? Which, looking at the structure of the side, they might have to do if Chuka plays, because Chuka Anderson plays as a hit-up centre-half forward very much, where Staley's more that stay-at-home. I'd nearly throw him behind the ball if they have a tall forward line. Team in with Ryan Hobbs, who's the best fullback in the league and has been for years. And it's going to be really interesting to see some of these matchups and how they play out.
Yeah, it's an interesting point you're making about the back line. I think, I think Jordan Staley is an option. He could go back. I mean, you've still got Damien Cupido and also Lucas Anderson up forward to take a mark. So it's not like you need any more tall timber up there. And
Derek Micallef, who we know can get separation on his opponent in the blink of an eye and really just turn people inside out.
Staley, I think if they were to move someone back, it would be him. Look, the midfield you touched on before. Look, I think Daniel Tung and Nathan Horbury, 2 really important players, two left footers who both use the ball very well, especially one would be surprised if one of them just plays a bit of a kick behind play, off a back flank. And we know that Nathan Horbury last year in the Interleague game, he just had possession after possession behind the football, and he just sets up play so well from the back half. And I just think that one of those players will be used behind the football just to really launch the attack from defence.
I'll give you 2 potential X factors for the day. Grant Vales from Sunbury, who has had a fantastic start to the season and can be played either through the midfield or could be that bloke up forward that could pinch a couple of goals. And Alec Del Papa as well, who is probably a little bit... There's not much talk about him at the moment with Damien Cupido and Cam Richardson in that Bacchus Marsh forward line. He was the glue that got things going in that game against Darley, where they absolutely smoked them in that first quarter. He was the one that got it going. If he gets going across half forward, it's going to be a pretty long day for the WRFL backman.
Yeah, I just think it's great that a player like Alec Del Papa has been rewarded for his really good start to the season. He's a player that has been around for a little while, but for some players that I suppose that wouldn't normally get the opportunity, but they played so well in the first few rounds of the season. It's good to see Shaun's rewarded really good form. Bacchus Marsh haven't had too many representatives over the last couple of years, but for the Marsh to have Alec and also Damien Cupido,
and Jacko Bolton
as well. He's fantastic, and they're obviously playing some good football. So it's a really exciting game, Shaun. I think will be one in the midfield. But as I said before, if the Ballarat side can get enough supply into their forward line, I think that the amount of talent that we have in the forward line will be a bit too strong for the Western region.
Well, let's find out a little bit more from the source, because at training earlier this week, we had Chris Giampaolo, one of our senior players in the team, and coach Shaun O'Loughlin. We put them down in front of the cameras. We got BFL operations manager Scotty Carey down there to throw a few of the hard-hitting ones at him, as only Flack can do, because he's very, very good at that. So we thought we'd have a chat with Shaun and Chris and see how they think things are going ahead of this week's Interleague game.
Righto, Shaun, thanks for joining us on the BFL Footy Show ahead of Interleague this weekend, mate. We'll get straight into a couple of questions just to see how you've been going in the lead up to the game against Western Region Footy League this Sunday. So how's training been in the first couple of weeks in your preparation to lead into the game, mate?
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah, no, the boys have gelled really well, which is, I suppose, what you're always hoping for with Interleague. You want the side to gel as quickly as they can and learn about each other and their strengths really quickly, so that they can play the best footy they can on the weekend. So yeah, no, we're really happy with the first 2 weeks of training and now looking forward to the game on Saturday.
The Western Region Footy League squad was announced on Sunday, and we've had lucky enough to have Rick Horwood involved as opposition analysis throughout the program. What kind of insight has he given you into the Western Region side?
Yeah, Rick's been great. He's very thorough with the way he goes about his coaching at Sunbury, and he's been able to bring that to the BFL as well, which is great. So we're thrilled with what Rick's been able to do. And look, it's always hard with Interleague knowing who's going to be playing and who's not. But he's obviously got some great connections, and being at Sunbury and not too far from the Western Region Footy League clubs, he's obviously got a good network of friends and people who he's coached before and watched play before. So look, he's done a wonderful job, and just showing some vision to the players before was really useful as well. So yeah, look, he's done a wonderful job, and look, hopefully the bits and pieces that he's been able to do will help our players on Saturday.
Now, you've had a couple of late inclusions into the squad, and there always is at this time of the year. I suppose you're always looking at injuries throughout the season after rounds of footy, but probably the two big ones, Nathan Horbury with Interleague experience before, and Damien Cupido, obviously a quality player, have come in. And what kind of roles do you see those guys playing in the side? Yeah,
look, it's great. They've been really excited about joining the group, which is wonderful, and it's wonderful for the players who are already in the squad. Look, we can see Nathan playing a midfield role or off half back potentially, but he's such a good player, such a good user of the footy, wins the footy really well, so probably through the midfield somewhere. And also Damien, obviously he's had a couple of games with Bacchus Marsh, and he's got a lot of high-level football experience, and obviously he's a good goal kicker, but he's also a player who uses the footy really well. So yeah, look, he'll probably play forward and through the midfield. So yeah, they're both really good inclusions for us.
Yeah, beauty. And now with the makeup of your side pretty much finalised, where do you see the biggest strengths for the BFL leading into this weekend? Oh, look, the strength for us, I think, and the coaches have all pretty much agreed that the strength for us will be in how well the guys have gelled. They've really quickly become a really close group, which I think you need in any interleague side that's going to be a success. So look, we're just really happy with the way that they've gelled. Obviously, we've got a lot of highly skilled players. The Western Oval or the Whitten Oval will really suit our players in terms of the skill level that they've got. They're all very fit. They're all in really good form. So yeah, look, that's probably the things that I think will stand us in good stead on Saturday. No worries, Shaun. Thanks for joining us on the BFL Footy Show, mate, and we wish you all the best against Western Region Footy League on Saturday.
Thanks, Scott.
Cheers. Chris Giampaolo, thanks for joining us on the BFL Footy Show tonight, mate. Obviously underway with the Interleague program, and we wish you all the best for the weekend against the Western Region Footy League. Just a couple of questions. What does it mean to you to represent the BFNL on what's going to be a pretty big stage on Saturday?
Yeah, it's always a privilege to represent the BFL, so jumped at the opportunity as soon as Shaun got onto me, and it's a good chance to play with the players all around the league. So there's Steve Kennedy, we've got Lucas Anderson, which is very good players in the league, and yeah, it's always a privilege to try and play the best footy possible, and playing at Whitten Oval, yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, great opportunity to play on an AFL standard venue in Whitten Oval, and have you had a chat to Shaun about what your role might be on the weekend?
Yeah, through the midfield, Shaun has made me aware, and just showing that there's a first year players playing this year, so just helping them out and just using my voice on the ground, trying to be a leader out in the ground.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, a lot of younger players this year, and how have they gelled on the training track over the first few weeks, and do you see that as a bit of a strength leading into the weekend?
Yeah, we've gelled really well. The younger players bring a lot of enthusiasm to these sort of games, and yeah, we've got along really well on the training track. Everyone knows each other, we know what side foot, so yeah, we're just all raring to go and can't wait till Saturday.
And probably the other side of that is the more experienced guys that have played high level football, and blokes like Steve Kennedy and Mitch Banner, who you played against on the weekend, Redan v Darley. What would it be like playing alongside them instead of against them?
Yeah, well, it's going to be very good playing with Mitch. He's played AFL football, and Ken has played over 100 games for AFL, so just their knowledge, what they bring to the game, and just learning some things off them, what they share to the boys, it's very good.
Great, thanks G for joining us on the BFL Footy Show, mate. We wish you all the best on the weekend against Western Region Footy League, and good luck.
Shaun O'Loughlin and Chris Giampaolo, the coach and one of our senior members of the Interleague squad that will take on the WRFL this week. What a game it's going to be. Don't forget, 11:45am for the under-19 game, 2:30 for the senior game as well. And if you can't get down to the Whitten Oval, which is a fantastic venue to watch football at, the home of football, let's be honest about it, great venue to sit there and watch games of football be played. So get down there, but if you can't, we'll keep you covered. Follow the BFL on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all day long. And I believe there's a live feed of the game happening as well. So get around all of that, Braids. Absolute pleasure being with you once again for another Wednesday afternoon here on the BFL Footy Show. You heading down this weekend, or have you got AFL Vic duties elsewhere?
Yeah, AFL Vic duties. Sean, I won't be there, but I'll be certainly keeping a close eye on proceedings. I'll be at the Central Highlands game, so looking forward to that. But yeah, we'll be keeping a close eye on the BFL game, and hopefully the boys can get the job done.
Keep a close eye on the social media, mate, because it will be A1 this week as well. We've got a professional in running it this week.
Very good, mate.
Which will be me.
No doubt.
Thank you very much for joining us on the BFNL Footy Show for another week, and thanks to our fantastic partners once again at McDonald's Ballarat and Ballarat Toyota. We'll be back next week to preview and get back into footy mode in the BFL, and of course the big Indigenous round next weekend. So until then, it's bye for now.
Goodbye.